And welcome back to episode 184 of the Weekly Tech Round with me, Jay.
And me, Karl.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Surviving.
Good, good. So I picked myself up this week a Kindle Scribe.
You did. Yes, you
Hmm.
haven't told me much about how it is. You said you were a little disappointed, maybe?
Yeah, perhaps disappointed isn't the right word. It's a very good device. It's a very big Kindle.
It's a very big Kindle.
10.3 inch display, e-ink, slightly bigger than the Remarkable tablets. It's got quite a large bezel on the left-hand side. I think that's where you're meant to hold it, but you can flip it round.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a Kindle reader, looks phenomenal. The reason I kind of mentioned it was I really wanted a Remarkable tablet. The
Yes.
Remarkable 2.
Yep.
Great device.
Note-taking input device.
Yeah, but the Remarkable is like close to £500.
It is. Before you've added accessories.
Yeah, and I was like, that is a lot of dosh.
Yes, it is.
And I really like them. I think they're really good. I know a lot of people. We know some similar, mutual friends, if you will, mutual kind of acquaintances who are using them, and I think they work. So I thought, well, I'll try the Kindle Scribe. I don't know. I may send it back by the end of the week. I like it, but I can't. When you're not committed, that's wrong to say that, isn't it?
What is it? Is it like the input doesn't quite feel right, or
I don't know. Maybe it's just buyer's remorse.
well, yeah, that's true. Pick up a second-hand Remarkable. I did point some out.
You did. I mean, it's the same kind of money. I guess the difference
kind
was
of money, but I think you're buying the best of the best then. And then if you still don't like it, well, you can't return it. It's an eBay jobby. So yeah,
that's the thing. I suppose it was easier to have it as Amazon, so I could take it straight back if I didn't feel like it. It was my requirements. But yeah, when you kind of think you really, really want something, and then you get it, and you're like, maybe I've made a mistake here. I don't know.
yeah. Well, it sits on your desk because it's never used again.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it here. I'm away next week for some business travel. It could be a great use there rather than a notebook. But I guess, maybe I need to lean into it a bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Have you been in any meetings where you've actually used it yet, though?
Not since it came on Wednesday, no.
No, I suppose you've been in the meetings at home, haven't you? So you've just typed up your notes.
Or just
in an actual in-person meeting.
Yeah, or just not made any notes.
There is that, yeah.
But yeah, it just came to me. But it was one of those things I've been really wanted to, and it kind of the Prime Day sale there. It seemed a great way to do it, but I'm now wondering whether or not maybe it wasn't the right move. I don't know.
Returns.
Maybe indeed it is going to be Amazon returns. We'll see. So also this week we've still been playing Grey Zone, haven't we? Grey Zone Warfare is kind of still the game of choice at the minute. Though they really need to fix some of those UI bugs, don't they? I tell you.
It's not the UI one where you walked into a PvP, didn't you? And then got shot and lost all your kit. That didn't help. But then they released a patch, didn't they, to fix GPU crashes? And ever since that patch had come out, I've had like 5 or 6 GPU crashes in each session. It was like every 10 minutes. That turns out that was the latest NVIDIA drivers. Bad timing. They came out pretty much the same day or a day apart from the GPU fixing patch. So I managed to roll those back, and touch wood, I've had not one single crash since rolling those drivers back.
No, I have to say that has worked out well for you.
Because it was terrible at first. I thought it was the patch, but yeah.
Yeah, and then exactly. It was slightly better approach than having to completely uninstall the game, rebuild it. It was just NVIDIA. NVIDIA.
Yeah. Well, you say that. NVIDIA don't give you the previous drivers on their website. Not that I could find anywhere. Yeah. I had to download a third-party tool to do a clean install of the older drivers.
Yeah, that wasn't great, was it?
No, I thought, I'll just pop on NVIDIA's, install the current ones, pop the old ones on, job done. I spent about 20 minutes on that. I Googled it, could not find them.
And then you had to go down that rabbit hole of finding tools
Yeah, I think it was NV Clean or something. I can't remember what it was, but basically allowed you to NV Customize. It allowed you to customize the drivers, take bits out, but it also allowed you to download older versions. It's like, right, I'll do that.
It's never ever simple, is it?
No. And I've kind of guided our other friend through it. I don't know how successful that's been, but I'm sure he will let us know.
I'm sure he will. Well, this week then we have got a bit of a mixed bag, haven't we? We've got some Musk, we've got some Gurman, we've got some Google. The Tech Rumour Mill is back with some additional news. We're going to talk about SE Force and NVIDIA RTX, which we talked a little bit last week. But I guess let's kick off with the first of the week, which is Elon Musk and just again X, and again another country. Another falling foul of regulatory pieces, isn't it? And this time, quite serious, really.
He doesn't actually care. So this is the Australia's federal court. They ruled against X, Twitter, regarding compliance with its local child protection regulations they have. Basically, it's what Australia call their basic online safety expectations. Mandates, that online platforms have to ensure user safety. So early 2023, the commissioner sent notices to major platforms, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, all the big ones that have kind of social media, asking them to explain their efforts against child sexual exploitation. Okay, pretty simple. Pretty standard around the world. Well, the commissioner found that both Google and X did not adequately respond to the requests. So a lawsuit was filed against X in December 2023, so just under a year ago. Bizarrely seeking a civil penalty for X's non-compliance. I don't know why it's a civil penalty. Okay, but anyway, regardless, they went through. This has gone to court. And the court they've rejected X's arguments that it was not obligated to comply since the notice was issued to Twitter prior to Musk's acquisition.
Oh, come on.
I know. So the judge ruled that the obligation to transfer to the new owners during merger and acquisitions, and that was actually confirmed by X's own legal correspondence, because a letter from X's lawyers to the commissioner stated, X Corp is the successor in interest of Twitter Inc. All of Twitter's Inc.'s assets, liabilities, rights, etc. passed X Corp on the 15th of March. So they shot themselves in the face with that one. So the judge threw that one out. X also claimed that notice was issued in the wrong jurisdiction. He dismissed that one. They tried to argue they'd been given an extension. The judge knew nothing about this extension, so threw that one out. But rather disappointingly, the penalty was only $420,000.
US, I'm assuming that is.
US, 615,000 Australian dollars. But which wasn't really much of a slap, was it? Not for us.
No, and
if that had been 420 million.
Well, yes,
that might have persuaded him. Yeah, but is this just a one-off charge? Because he's just going to pay that and not bother complying again.
No, I think if that was 420 million, that would have made headline news worldwide, probably. But
but 420.
You can't operate in different countries and decide that you are going to obey some laws and you're going to ignore others.
You can choose which laws you're kind of comply with.
And given, something as serious here around child sexual abuse material and protection, I mean, and is it, is this, what was it, the basic online safety expectations, isn't it? Which is, quite an interesting thing. I had a look at that, which is around, as you say, of course, all online platforms to abide by. Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you open yourselves up?
He can't, because he got rid of all the moderation teams and all the safety teams.
And that's a very valid point. He did do that. And if you ever report anything on X now, you're just clicking a button to send something to nowhere.
I don't think it even logs anything in a database, does it? It's just a button that clicks and does nothing.
You get a bit ping back that says we got your report, but that's probably part of the process when it sends
with a poo emoji. Is that like one for the reporters?
It just is daft, isn't it?
It is, but as I said, $420,000 US. Well, he won't pay that because he doesn't pay anything. But even if he does pay it, he's going to do it, pay it and just ignore it because it doesn't seem like there's any further consequences. So this was a civil penalty. So they send the bailiffs around? Do they have an office?
Probably even have an office in Australia now, do they?
No, probably not. So, he's not going to pay it and he's not going to change anything.
It's just terrible, isn't it, that we carry on with this. I just want to call it. And again, just the same things going round and round and round.
Yeah,
with him, and it's the same stories everywhere as well, isn't it? It's never, it's
doesn't
never a
abide by
different
rules,
story.
doesn't pay his debts or fees or fines.
Unless he's completely proven to, and he's wrong, or he has to go back a cap in hand, or they're faced with really serious litigation where
I think he's paid the one in Brazil now, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course they have.
After they seized all of SpaceX's assets or threatened to.
It's almost like they take it to the wire, isn't it? And then he's like, "Well, I pushed it as far as I can. Now I've got to step back and pay the bill."
I gave it to the man. Like,
you
are the man. You're big business.
Yeah, given this is also the guy who, is stood in front of Trump jumping up and down. But we won't go there. Not today.
Let's not. Let's move on from that one.
Okay, let's move to slightly more positive news then. So the last week we mentioned that the M4 MacBooks had the packaging had probably leaked, hadn't it? And there was rumours that those devices were probably ready to be shipped to stores, or at least.
I don't know if you saw the follow-up to that wasn't a leak from a store. That was a leak for someone who actually had the M4 and is now for sale on some Russian auction site.
Whoa, I missed that update. Where did that come from?
I only just remembered now. I should have added. I'll try and dig it out to notes. Maybe I saw it on X or Twitter or something like that. I saw it somewhere, but it was then up for sale on some Russian version of eBay. There was an unboxing video and everything. Apparently, I didn't see the video. I just heard there was a video.
How, in the name of anything, did it get into Russia as well?
I don't know on that one because it's not like there's an Apple store there.
I am perplexed by that one. That was a bombshell.
yeah. But Gurman has given us more news, hasn't he, on the M4? He's now saying we're expecting a keynote late October, or probably any week now, with products launching November the 1st.
Well, and this, what we're looking at now then could be potentially the low end 14-inch MacBook Pro with M4, as well as some high-end 14-inch and 16-inch Mac Pros, and the M4 Max.
That's the high end of the Pro and the Max versions, aren't they?
M4
Pro and 4 Max,
as well as rumored an iMac with M4. And of course, the one that we're waiting for, we talked about the M4, the M4. I don't know why it didn't sound right.
The Mac M4, Mini with M4.
Mac Mini with M4 and 4 Pro. But there's also a weird kind of other device that they could update.
Just throw that on the end, a new iPad Mini. I mean, it's probably been 3 years, maybe 4. I don't know. It's been a long time since we've had an update to the iPad Mini.
I think it has been nearly 4 years.
That will make John Prosser very happy if there is a new iPad Mini. He loves it and is very annoyed that there has not been any new ones.
Well, no, the iPad, so the iPad Mini 6th Gen was 2021, I think. So maybe 3 years then, actually. Maybe 3 years. 3 years.
It's been still quite a while. That's going to be running an old chip by now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, don't forget, when they redid it, the iPad Mini, they made it into the
It's got the square bezels and stuff, hasn't it? Like the modern ones,
I can't remember what chip it is. It's USB-C, I think, though, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it is USB-C, and it has got. Well, Apple don't tell you. Interestingly, Apple is to do A4 Bionic. No, A15 Bionic.
Okay, so we're a good couple of generations behind.
A15 Bionic, 12 megapixel wide camera and 4K video, and 12 megapixel ultra wide on the front, and it's the 8.3 inch liquid display. I'd be interested to see what they do here. M1 it?
Could be.
M2 it. M1's too low, isn't it? It'd have to be M2, I think.
Well, and anything M is going to be considerably quicker than the 15 it's got in there. I don't know.
I can't see it being the A18.
That's a fairly big processor to be sticking in such a small package.
Well, then potentially would be the A18 then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the A18. And maybe it's only been updated because they want everything to have Apple Intelligence.
Well,
it's got to have the A18 minimum, hasn't it?
And that's kind of what we were saying about before, wasn't it? That, to have a baseline now across the devices of the devices that can support Apple Intelligence, whether they are M series or whether they are going to be at least baseline of A18, Yeah,
because obviously we did the phones. Both phones got the A18 this time, didn't they? The low and the high end.
Yeah, they did. That's correct.
I am also wondering around the iMac, have they fixed the displays? because I saw an awful lot of articles recently about iMacs displays delaminating.
Yeah,
or whatever,
that was weird.
Display bugs shortly after the warranty ran out.
I'll tell you the other one that haven't been pitched here is the Mac Studio and Mac Pros.
No, but they are apparently mid next year. So the Studio is aiming for mid next year, and the Mac Pro likely the end of next year before. I can't see
the Mac. Well, I mean, given that you can spec up, where the Mac, the Mac was it? The Mac Pro came out, wasn't it? And now the high end Mac 3s. If you spec out those, did we get an Ultra with the Mac 3? I can't remember.
With what? The M3. Studio? Yeah, you got an Ultra in the Studio, didn't you?
Yeah, but we didn't get an M3 Ultra though, did we?
I can't remember what it was. The last Studio, was it M3?
No, it was M2 Ultra. M2 Ultras. We never got an M3 Ultra.
Oh, okay.
So we never got an M3 Ultra. So you could potentially see an M3 Ultra.
Maybe.
Or will they skip it and go to an M4 Ultra?
Yeah, it's still just the M2 Ultra is the highest one you can get. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So we never got an M3 Ultra this year. So I'm saying possibly we'll see it go the other way. And then maybe I'll skip a generation there and we'll get an M4 Ultra.
Well, maybe. What did you get in a Mac Pro? Did that get an M3 Ultra?
No, it didn't, did it? Got a pair of M2s.
M2 Ultra as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. We never got, you're right. No M3 Ultra. So, yeah, maybe this is the year of the M4 Ultra.
Well, there's also rumours in there. We're going to talk about one of these devices in the rumour mill, but there was also apparently rumours of refreshed AirTags, wasn't there?
Yeah, refreshed AirTags, new Magic Keyboards for iPad. These are expected, the first half of 2025. New 11 and 13-inch iPad Airs, new iPhone SE, which we will talk about, as well as the M4 13 and 15-inch MacBook Airs. But one thing that's disappeared, though, is the refresh on the low-end 11-inch iPad. We were expecting that soon, but that's just
but it's gone.
That's might get it early next year, maybe.
Maybe. It depends whether or not they feel they need to update it, I suppose, isn't it?
I mean, if they do them minis with an M chip or an A18 to give it Apple Intelligence, the current Air should already work with it, shouldn't they? Because they've got M chips.
That's correct. Yeah.
It would be the only device that can't do Apple Intelligence, but then it's the cheapest device. So
I was just going to say that you're right. You've got the low end device, so you can't give it everything, can you?
No, exactly. I don't know. We'll have to see on that one. But yeah, refreshed AirTags as well. What are we going to do with that? I mean, what more do you need to add?
Maybe update the YouTube. Isn't it they got the ultra wides in them? Of course they have.
They've got ultra wides. Yeah, maybe an update to the Ultra 1-2 chip or whatever it is.
Yeah, is it the U2 or what's it? W2. W2's in the headphones, isn't it?
Yeah, W is the audio chip, isn't it?
Yeah, so it must be U2 then. But that I can't see. That doesn't sound right at all.
No. Okay, yeah. The tags have got U1 chips, haven't they? The 15 and 16 phones have got the U2 chips now. That was
maybe
15,
yeah.
So, yeah, maybe.
Who
knows? We'll see.
So this is likely then within the next few weeks, then, isn't it?
Apparently so. I imagine invites. If it's an actual event, he did say an event, didn't he? So
he did, yeah.
I imagine invites will probably go out next week or within the next week or so.
Great, just in time for me not to be able to afford it. Awesome work.
Exactly. I'll add that to the list of things I can't buy.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's change tack then and talk about a company that may not be able to afford much as well if a judge gets in the way. So, unbelievably, the Google versus Epic lawsuit has continued to rumble on in the background, has it? Which I completely missed that. And there has been an update now, hasn't there, from the judge who was presiding over that case and has ordered Google to allow rivals to set up additional app stores. Now, this may think, hang on a minute, because can't I get additional app stores on Google?
You can do. Yeah.
You can. But now the judge has stated from the 1st of November, and only in the US, there'll be a 3-year injunction that says several things. First off, Google may not share any revenue generated by the Google Play Store with any person or entity that distributes Android apps or has stated it will launch or considering Android app platform or store. they may not condition any payments, revenue, or allow access to any product or service. And it goes on whole details agreements, doesn't it?
It does.
And then it all goes on to say that Google may not require the use of Google Play billing in apps distributed on the Play Store. Prohibit the use of in-app payment methods. This is starting to sound familiar, isn't it?
It does sound familiar,
prohibit a developer from communicating with users about the availability of payment methods other than Google. And also may not require a developer to set prices based on whether Google Play is used, billing is used, or allow them to stop developers communicating about the availability of pricing or apps outside of the Google Play Store. And also they have to allow Google to permit third-party Android app stores access to the Google Play Store catalog of apps. Now that's
I was trying to get my head around this one. So it's basically you build a third-party web front store, but then you use Google's Play APIs to basically install it for them, and you don't have to do any of the hosting.
That's a bit that puzzled me as well. And I guess kind of take a step back here. I was like, what is going on here? Because this sounds very similar to the judgment that Apple had made against them, wasn't it? Also versus the DMA stuff that's happened in Europe in terms of how Apple have had to open up the platform to additional stores. They can't stop you from saying that the app can be downloaded elsewhere. And I don't know about you, but I've heard quite a few things like a couple podcasts I listen to, like Patreon, for example. The crowd, you can saying people, don't sign up for Patreon on your iPhone. Go on the website and do it because Apple are charging 30%. It's like, whoa. So I think here we've got a very similar situation here.
We have. So the other big one was that Google can't prohibit people launching third-party app stores from the Google Play Store. So you'll be able to host or allow the installation of third-party app stores from the Google Play Store. Not just sideload. And the one that made me laugh, especially coming from Epic, part of the agreement is they're not allowed to have agreement with app developers to launch apps first or exclusively in the Google Play Store, which is basically what Epic have been doing non-stop with the Epic Store, signing agreements so they are exclusive or launched first, sometimes for years on apps, isn't it?
It's just Tim Sweeney must only spend his days challenging everything about anybody else's business practices. That must be all he does. I don't know how you could run a company given the amount of lawsuits and litigation that's going on.
How about look internal and look at some of your practices?
Well, that would be a good place. Self-reflection usually is a good idea, isn't
it? Yeah. So you're right. It's a very mixed one of what happened with the Apple stuff, but obviously I think Apple came out a bit better with that lawsuit. Obviously not necessarily with the DMA, and obviously it's a mixture of the DMA. But this obviously applies to the US only and nowhere else. Google are, of course, going to appeal the verdict and seek a pause on the injunctions until that appeal is resolved. So I wouldn't expect to see this actually implemented on the, when was it, the 1st of November, they said?
Yeah, and also, did you see that there was part of it means that there's a 30-day deadline that both companies have to form a 3-person technical committee.
Yes.
So one from each of them and a mutually agreed third member to resolve disputes over the implementation of the injunctions provisions. I mean, God, they can't agree on anything themselves. How the hell are they going to agree on anything, in terms of this injunction?
Well, this is it. Google are going to say no, Epic are going to say yes, and then the third party basically has to decide everything. So who's paying the third party?
That's a very valid point. Who is it? And are they mutually neutral? Are they within a tech organization? There's nothing given on that, is there either? It's just a mutually agreeable.
And they're not going to. I'd be very surprised if they agreed on a third party.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want someone that's going to favour them.
No.
Yeah. This will not be the last we've heard of this one.
Not at all, no. Definitely going to be something up. And also, breaking news in the last couple of days is that the US Department of Justice now, isn't it, is considering approaching a federal judge to split Google up, or more to the point, get them to sell parts of the business in order to eliminate its online search monopoly perspective. So they're talking about rumors are that it could be Chrome or Android may be spun off. Again, that's very high level rumor. Or both. I am surprised if that goes ahead, because that is one hell of a lawsuit that would have to be to force them to split that off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're both massive enterprises for Google, aren't they? I'd argue, especially Chrome more than anything, because what better way to monopolize your users than them see exactly what they browse?
Exactly. And they bought Android was a very small organization that Google bought, didn't they, many years ago?
Yep.
And have turned it into the world's second. Well, I guess it depends where you sit. They either are the world's largest mobile operating system or the second largest, depending on how you measure that. But let's just say they are one. Between
by number of devices, I would say largest.
I was just going to So you're looking at very, very large percentage of business here, and if it was turned into its own business, I suspect would make quite a bit of money. Now, Chrome, on the other hand, I think they have problems here because Google commit a lot to the Chromium development, don't they? The open source Chromium engine, which is now embedded in many, many OSs. Browsers.
99% of the browsers. The only ones I can think that don't have it are Firefox and Safari.
And I think there'd be bigger issues there doing it. Now, this comes off the back of a ruling in August, wasn't it, that came from a district judge saying that the Google search engine had been illegally exploiting its dominance at around, pushing competition away, stifling any information. And there'll be a trial in spring 25 with a decision in August 25.
Yeah.
Now, there was a law professor at Cornell University who was a chief economist. I can't say the word. What's wrong with me?
Neither can I. Him.
For the Justice Department's antitrust division in the 1970s, so clearly very current.
Economist, that's the one I'm looking for.
That's the word. Who said that the appeal process could take 5 years.
Right.
So let's be honest, this is not going to change, is it, anytime soon?
No.
When we look at this.
Exactly. And would anyone want to buy the browser? I mean, if they spun it off as a separate entity, how are they going to make money as such?
Yeah,
because all the money made from Chrome and technically Android is via advertising, isn't it? If you don't have the advertising engine to back that up, then how are you making money? But that has knock-on effects. I think we discussed, like for Mozilla, Firefox. I think 80 or 90% of their profits come from Google because Google pays them to be the default search engine, or realistically pays them so there is a viable third-party browser, so they're not viewed as a monopoly.
No, and we know that Apple also have a similar deal, but I don't think we kind of agree that Apple really
don't need the money.
Don't need the money. They could get away with that now. But yeah, I think you're right. That's going to be a big impact. And I think also, if you spin off Android as well, how's that going to work? Are they going to have? It'll be licensing costs, surely. I can't see anything else.
Yeah, your Android devices won't be so cheap anymore.
No, because there has to be a licensing cost built into the OS.
Yeah, exactly. So the other company's not going to, again, same with Chrome. They're not going to give it away for free when they can't then rely on the advertising money because they don't have an advertising entity behind them.
No. Very strange times at the moment, I have to say.
Yeah.
Well, then, let's swing our attention over to and the Tech Rat Rumor. So we kind of teed this one up earlier, but then the Apple iPhone SE4 is rumored now to be launching as part of this keynote or update coming in the next few weeks, or perhaps
no. This is spring 2025.
Oh, sorry. Yes, apologies. Yes, I was getting ahead of myself in terms of next year. So the iPhone SE4 will be the budget entry in the iPhone lineup, and looks very similar to kind of a cut 14. Down. Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks very similar to iPhone 14, doesn't it?
And the 14 is not the Pro, because it's the 14 that has the no dynamic island. It still has the notch. It didn't get the dynamic island, which the 14 Pro did, but it does mean it's ditching that Touch ID to get the Face ID, doesn't it?
Which would mean it would be one of the final devices now, wouldn't it, that had Touch ID on it?
That is the last device, isn't it? I can't think of any. Even the low-cost iPad is the new chassis design. Oh, no, sorry, you're right. It has Touch ID in the button, doesn't it? In the power button, not in there was no home button, though. Yeah,
so as I say, it's the last phone to do it, but it's not the last device.
No, it's not.
To do it.
But with that new chassis, you are getting a 6.1-inch OLED display, allegedly. You're going to get the A18 chip with 8 GB of RAM, which isn't that the same as just the iPhone.
The base 16. iPhone 16, isn't it? Yeah, it's the base
16,
one. Yeah.
Obviously, so you can get Apple Intelligence. We can't be releasing a phone that doesn't or isn't going to have this. Camera-wise, you're going to get a 48 megapixel wide camera at the back, 12 megapixel front. But more interestingly, allegedly, this will be the first ever Apple device to have the new Apple's own built 5G modem. Which, when they buy that company? 10 years ago?
Yeah, or the Intel mobile,
division.
Intel modem division. Yeah, we know they did. Yeah, and we were saying before, weren't we, that we were initially before the iPhone 16 launch, we were thinking that might happen, but then there was those stories where they're saying that they had abandoned work on it because of initial issues and stuff. Yeah. So perhaps they have. Perhaps whatever the issues were, they buying them out. And
but allegedly, this is it's designed to significantly reduce battery consumption. Especially in low power mode. I'm always up for some battery saving.
Absolutely.
I think, but it's not just a 5G modem. It's also got the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, the GPS in it. So it's more than just a modem.
This is it, isn't it? I mean, so this is all part of their kind of thing, is to get away from Qualcomm, isn't it, and move away,
build everything in-house.
In-house, yeah,
or designed in-house, yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily, TSMC. Thank you very much.
yeah, exactly. But again, there might be a slight price increase. I think the current one's $429. The rumours say it'll be priced between $459 and $499. But this is a considerable upgrade.
I was just going to say, it's a considerable upgrade, and it's it's a budget phone for companies, organisations. It's a great device for that kind of market.
Companies will buy that left, right, and centre at that kind of price.
Absolutely, and probably older parents as well.
I don't know. That's still too expensive for my parents.
My in-laws have got SE2s.
Have they?
Yeah.
No. I think we had a conversation with my parents the other day, and we were like, "Oh, did you get a new phone then?" I said, "Oh, yeah." And they were like, "How much did that cost?" And they went, "How much?"
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about it. And I bought two on the day. We won't talk about that one because they were interested in maybe. My dad's got an iPad, maybe getting an iPhone and moving to ecosystem. But I said, even the cheap ones, you're looking at £600-700, aren't you? I was like, yeah, they won't be doing that.
Yeah, so I say my parents have got the I'm sure it's SE2s or SE3s. No, SE2s. I've doubted myself now, but they didn't buy them when they released. I think they got them a year or so after they came out. But they work well. They like them.
They do. Yeah. My dad loves his iPad, but yeah. That was a kind of a gift, I think, from all of us at Christmas or a birthday or something.
Well, my father-in-law's was many, many, many moons ago now, which is getting a bit long in the tooth. But yes, I recall that. So then the other one was, again, a follow-up from last week when we talked about the RTX 5090 with its humongous 32 gig of VRAM and 1,600 watts of power. Well, there hasn't been an update to that, saying now that the 50 series will now launch at CES 2025. So over in January,
isn't it?
Yeah, in Vegas. We will apparently get the announcement of the 5070s, the 5090s, and the 5080s. As Jensen Hung, he of the NVIDIA kitchen,
and the leather jacket.
Of course, apparently is going to be holding a CES keynote on January the 6th.
Yeah, so there's 57. We didn't talk about 57 last week, but I heard about we talked about the 5080 and the 5090, didn't we?
That's right, yeah.
5070, though, is rumored to be a 192-bit bus, 12 gig of the new super fast GDDR7 RAM, a modest 250 watts.
Comparatively.
Exactly, but that's still a 14% increase over the RTX 4070 power consumption-wise. And we did mention, we talked last week, the 58 sounded a bit of a dud. Didn't seem spec-wise much better than the 4080, but it's now being suggested that it was going to have 32 gigabits a second memory speed instead of the rumored 28 gigs. A maximum bandwidth of basically a terabyte a second instead of the 890 gigs a second.
That's impressive.
Apparently, that massive increase in memory bandwidth is going to mean that the 5080 is faster and requires less power than the current 4090. Though I'll believe that when I see it, because the 4090 is quite a jump up from a 4080 power-wise. It's about 30 or 40% faster than a 4080.
Yeah.
So for the 5080 to then beat the 4090 would be something.
And I guess the question is where do you go, depending on your upgrade path as well, isn't it?
Well, what you can afford, because I'm guessing these aren't cheap. I was just looking the other day at what does a 4090 cost nowadays? And you're still looking at £1,500 minimum.
That is absolutely absurd, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was like, I wonder if you can get a second-hand one cheap. I bought my 3090 at, I think I paid just over 600 for it. Second-hand, not brand new. But it's been faithful. It's been powered for everything. I have no issues with it whatsoever. I thought, could I pick up a 4090 for similar? No, even second-hand ones are still going for £1,200-1,300.
Nuts. Absolutely nuts, isn't it?
Yeah. Could buy a car for that.
Yeah,
well, not a very good one, obviously. Quite an old one. But I could buy a car for that.
Yeah, exactly. This statement is could, isn't it?
Or for the price of a brand new 49, I could buy a pretty good whole PC.
I'm hoping, though, perhaps that when they do come out, that the 40 series prices will drop.
They won't, though, because what they do, they've already started wrapping up production supply. So there's not going to be excess left in the market. I'm trying to look at it the other day, because I'm looking at buying a new graphics card for something. I can't say it on the podcast. But I looked at 3000 generation just to see. Can't get them. They're just not there brand new, or very few of them.
Well, that's the clever part about the market here, isn't it? That NVIDIA know how to control their market, and they do it by reducing
stock now, so that when the 5000 series come out, there are no cheaper options to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't count on getting a cheap one. You'll have to go second hand.
Yes, that's a good point. Well, maybe then, maybe that's the point. But the problem is then, though, the second-hand market will become exceptionally expensive because, again, as you say, there's no new stock and there'll be limited second-hand stock. So
and the 4000 series will sell like hotcakes. For people that can't buy the 5000 series.
No, we'll end up with the same problem again, won't we?
Yeah, I'm wondering when the 5000 series come up, does the value of my 3090 go up in value if I try and sell it second-hand?
That I don't know.
That'd be interesting. Because I did sit there and think, maybe a 5000 might be nice, a nice upgrade since I've done the motherboard, I've done the GPU and the RAM. Might nicely finish it out, but not at that price.
No, not at that price at
Definitely
all.
not.
No. Well, that's probably a good place for us to wrap up for today. We'll be back next week with episode 185. And as we march on towards the Magic 200, not that far away now, we'll be back with all the latest tech news and updates. And, maybe we might have information on that Apple event if it's, there or not. But, given that we'll be in towards the middle of October next week, you'd expect those invites to be dropping. But we will see. So, like I said, you can catch us on all of the places you get your podcasts from. Tell your friends about it. We're also on YouTube and, of course, still on Twitter at Weekly Tech Rant. And, of course, at wherever you get podcasts, it's all at Weekly Tech Rant as well. So, thanks very much. I've been Jay.
I've been Karl. Have a good one all.